everyone to do something with me. Close your eyes for a brief moment and picture this. You're sitting in a classroom, the lights feel too bright. Maybe someone is sitting behind you munching on a snack, another person is sitting next to you tapping their pencil against the desk, and overlaps of sound crash on top of each other. At this moment, what do you feel? It may be a mix of being overwhelmed, anxious, or maybe your heart rate begins to skyrocket. But you have to stay focused. You have to act normal so that other kids don't think you're being dramatic or weird. Now open your eyes. This feeling is experienced by autistic individuals daily and far more intensely. In many ways, autism is very much misunderstood. Not because people don't care, but because social stigma reshapes the way we think we understand autistic communities. When people think of the word autism, they may think that they are socially awkward, genius, difficult, less capable, or even dangerous, when really autism is none of those things because it lies on a wide spectrum. Today I want to address the big question of how does the social construction of autism influence individual well-being and access to support, but most importantly, what we as a society can do to respond to stigma. So what exactly is it? Autism or autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental condition that can affect how people communicate, process sensory information, or interact with the world. These neurological factors are lifelong, meaning that a person cannot grow or get cured out of it in the traditional sense. Definitions like these make autism seem purely medical, fixed, and objective, when in reality, our understanding of autism is greatly shaped by social expectations, cultural norms, and ideas of what normal behavior should look like. And this is where social construction comes from. In a study by Turnock, South Asian regions have conceptualized autism as a disease or family problem, whereas in parts of Africa, autism was ascribed to supernatural phenomena. Not only does social construction of autism lead to a misrepresentation of the population, but an increase in individuals who have limited knowledge of the population itself due to a reluctance to rely on reductionist labels and stereotypes relayed from the media. As autistic youth face many barriers in understanding social cues and navigating emotional landscapes, stigma catalyzes the withdrawal of interaction, further adding to the risk of social isolation. Which brings me to my next point of internalized stigma. Insufficient understanding of the autistic community can frame autism as a deficit. And although these socially constructed norms are built externally, they are easily internalized by the individual, shaping how they perceive themselves and interact with others. Stigma is internalized when an individual endorses negative societal beliefs about themselves and their group, leading to deteriorated self-esteem and self-efficacy. Corrigan and Watson theorized that internalized stigma consists of three components. The first being self-stereotype, which is the awareness of negative beliefs. The second being self-prejudice, which is the endorsement of negative beliefs. And the third being self-discrimination, which is self-discriminatory behavioral responses. In response to stigma and social expectations, autistic individuals have felt the need to mask their authentic selves, which have accounted for reportedly high rates of mental health difficulties. In a study by Hamden and Bennett, autistic individuals have significantly lower healthcare self-efficacy compared to the neurotypical, aligning with the last stage of stigma internalization, where the autistic individual feels emotional exhaustion and burnout from having to maintain a certain way towards others in order to avoid discrimination. Not only that, but social expectations can be relayed from individual experiences to the understanding of treating autism in healthcare, overall impacting provider support and contributing to misdiagnosis, widespread disparities, and poor outcomes in care despite high utilization rates in our services. What if instead of forcing people to adapt to a rigid system, we adapted our society to adopt inclusivity? Inclusion isn't about lowering standards. It's about removing unnecessary barriers. So what can we do? Start small. Be mindful of assumptions and listen to all voices, including autistic voices. Don't be a bystander and challenge stereotypes when you hear them. But most importantly, practice empathy, even if you don't fully understand. Autism isn't something to fear, or by no means fix. It's something to understand. And when we replace stigma with understanding, we don't just change how we see autistic individuals, we change how we see each other. Because understanding doesn't always come from having the same experience. It comes from being willing to see someone else's. Thank you.